Alright, time to get back on this FXR. See how many interruptions I get today. So right now the master cylinder is all rebuilt. I got all linkage adjusted and put up in here. I got the caliper hanging over here. So we gotta get this below the master cylinder to let it bleed correctly. Otherwise you'll be fighting it. So right now the exhaust pipe is in the way, which is pretty loose. See, those bolts are not very tight up in there. That will be another issue I got to deal with. Deal with my finger getting screwed right there. Alright, so how are we going to get this caliper down in between here? I don't know. Maybe we'll have to take it off the bike. Alright, well either way we got to get it low. Ah, there we go. I knew there was a way of doing it. Okay, I'm going to put a clamp onto the caliper here so the piston won't come out. I'm going to take a piece of metal, a piece of cardboard to protect the chrome on the outside there. I'll take a C-clamp and clamp them together, and that will keep the piston all the way bottomed out. So you have almost no air gap in there. I'm going to go ahead and put some fluid in here, let it drain down into here, and then we'll start pumping it. Right now I got the brake line nut fitting off, so I can put my finger over like that. And when you push the pedal down, you relieve your finger, let the air come out and then reseal it, let the pedal come up. When the pedal comes up, it should suck new fluid into it. You do it about 2 or 3 times, it should pop your finger off after that. Once that happens, then go ahead and get the brake banjo back down there as quick as you can without draining out too much fluid, and that should prime this. And then we'll just pump it up through here, and we'll pop the bleeder valve there as needed. The air is not going to go up very well unless we get this below the height of this, which is not going to happen because it goes up high no matter what. So we'd have to drop that whole thing way low to let gravity do its deal, which is how I like doing it. But alright, we'll see what we have to do. Worst case, we'll take this and angle it down and do it that way. I don't like pressure pumps, vacuum pumps, and all any other kind of pump. All they do is introduce a lot of air into the system is all I get. Because the air, when you put a hose on top of that, you still got an air leak around the threads. So it still leaks air into the system. Whether you push it, pump it, or suck it, same problems. So you do it how you like, I do it how I like. I like letting Mother Nature do her job. It's called gravity. It works good. Clean. Oh yeah, real nice. Alright, that's about as much of that we're going to get out of there. Alright, let's see if I can get this thing to go through here somehow. I don't really see any way of doing this. Well, without pulling this pipe off, which pretty much has to come off anyway, because it needs a gasket in here. Okay, so we get our 1/2-inch socket deep weld. Let's go over the stud easily. These are Python exhausts, so they're extra thick up in the top. If I can have a 2-inch pipe on them, so there's no room for the hardware. It's a little harder to do. The nut came out. There's one down. Oh, that's real good. There it goes. Probably should put some spray on there to lubricate the threads. Don't need to do that. It'll be just fine. Ah, the whole stud came out. There, I told you it'd be fine. It's out. Okay, let's see. Got a bolt and a nut and a button to bolt. What was that fell out? Ah, the washer. Gasket don't look too good up in there. Alright. So that's what a well-used gasket looks like. Get back on. So when you put a nice tapered gasket in there, it plugs the port up. See how small that port is now? Got a big lip coming through. Finger's not enough to get in there. This will get it, or I'll get my nose picker. This should be enough to get in here. Yeah, not really. Coming out in pieces. There it goes. So, that's what a well-used gasket looks like. So if you run a thinner gasket in there, you can either run the early one, which is only half the thickness. It's about the height of my thumb right there. In its smaller ID, or bigger ID, so you don't have this big lip in here. See that big lip right there we got to flow around? Not good for power. Now if you have a nice deep flange, you can run a nice thin gasket in there. And then you get a bigger port. Otherwise you can use an S&S gasket, which has the same height as the wedge gasket, but it has the same ID and OD of the thin gasket. So one of those two is going to do the trick. That should let some more power happen. Oh, look how small that one is. See, that's just as bad, if not worse. It's really constipated. There it goes. How bad that was constipated. Which one was worse? They look pretty close to being equal, but this one might be a little bit smaller now. So anyway, that's why I don't like the big wedge gaskets, tapered ones. They make your ports really small. Can't get no airflow if you got a small ass port. Alright, pipe is off, but we still can't get the caliper out. At least we pull that off. He's trying to make me do more work. Let's see if we can do something to not do that. Nope. Appear to be trapped in here. Okay, went in slightly further up to the head. Is that going to give me enough room to slip on through? Nope. Almost. But not quite. Just doesn't make it. Alright, I got to pull the pipe. You can tell I was trying to avoid that. All right. If you use a wrench and the 2 wrenches together, you get twice as much unscrewing. But when a damn wrench jams in there, it slows you down. So you go to an open end. Open end won't get jammed in there. And so you can go twice as quick because you got two wrenches at once you're doing. Quite. All this has to be put back on, so remember how it comes off. Oh, there's the interruptions. Knew it was going to get some today. Alright, one exhaust pipe is off. Don't lose it. We'll be back. Alright, we're back. More interruptions. Waste another hour probably. Alright, here's the gaskets, the thin skinny one with a big hole in it versus that one. See the difference? Quite a bit of difference. So you put the two together, see the big black mark on the inside of it. That's how much bigger it is. Okay, so when you put these in, you want to make sure you don't roll them. Make sure you put them in straight. These you go in tight, so they want to roll on you. So what I do is I put my thumbnail underneath it and pull in a little bit to kind of shoehorn in there a little bit to get it started. So they go in there like that where they're not too happy about going in. You take something flat, like an Allen wrench here. You just push it in. Make sure you push it in straight. Damn light, stay on. If it doesn't want to, if it rolls on you, it doesn't work. So kind of work it in. Don't push too hard on it because you put a big flat spot in it. It won't seal very good there until you torque the pipe in. There you go. So you see how height the pipe has to be at least this tall before it'll seal. So your exhaust pipe, which is over here, see how tall it is right here? So you know it's going to seal because the gasket's that thick, so you got that much compression in it. So this pipe is plenty thick enough. I've seen some pipes where they're only about this tall, half of this, and it's not quite enough to seal. These ones shouldn't be a problem. And these have fixed pipes, fixed flanges on them because they're pythons. And they're called python because they get thick right through here. So it gets right here, it gets thicker. See how it steps up? So it's like a reverse step header. But these have a reversion cone inside of them. I don't know if you can see it, but see you got a reversion. This pipe here is small, and then it gets real big underneath. So there's a groove like that in there where the air comes, the pulse that comes back up the pipe, hits the flange and goes back. So it doesn't push the exhaust gases back into the motor, so it makes it run a little better. But you'll still get the good suck on it where it's sucking the stuff out of the motor. So that's how that works. And that's why those pipes work real good. Until they quit making them. Alright. While you're in, you check everything. Always pull on your cables, make sure they're tight. Pull up here in the black part, make sure they're not broken inside where you can't see it. Doesn't hurt to check this stuff when you're in here. So now is when you got access to it. This one here, I can't. Here, it's tight. Find the spot where you push on it. Okay, it all looks good.